Hi, I'm Peter Tragos, host of the Lawyer You Know podcast and YouTube channel. The saying goes, everyone hates lawyers until you need one. Well, I'm here when you need one to answer your questions and give you insight that you didn't know you needed. Along with my partners, Pete Sardis, the professor, who has a finance and business background, and George Tragos, my dad, and the consigliere, a criminal defense giant, we can answer any questions you have. What's up, everybody? I'm always amazed to see how many people are here waiting right at the number on the dot. I know a lot of people join late to their streams. I try to get here as close to the start time as I possibly can. But with all of the other streamers out there doing it at the same time, looking at the same stuff, I appreciate you being here to talk about it with me, to get some questions answered, and to go through what we think will happen and then react once we know. So thank you, everybody, for joining me here to talk about the verdict we've all been waiting for in the Depp v. Heard trial. The time for discussing the evidence and whether or not it was fair and how the lawyers did is all behind us. Now it's time to focus on the verdict. And the way I see it, there's really three main categories that will show us exactly what the jury's thinking, depending on what their verdict is. They could either go full hog for Johnny Depp, where he wins all three counts, gets big money, and Amber Heard gets blanked. The second way we could know what the jury is feeling is if they just believe everything Amber Heard said. And if they did, although I think this is the less likely option, Johnny Depp would lose all three counts, Amber Heard would win all three counts, and she would get big money. That would be full hog for Amber Heard. But the most likely option that we've been saying kind of this whole time is some kind of compromise verdict. And there are different ways that a compromise verdict could come down. A lot of people have been talking about Johnny could win on one or two statements, but not all three. That's one way we could have a compromise verdict. The second way is Johnny could win, Amber could lose, but Johnny gets less money. People have said $1, people have said $7 million, connecting it to the divorce settlement. So they could compromise with the winner, but the amount being less than what they're asking for. Or the way they could compromise is they both lose. Neither one of them wins their defamation count. I don't see a full hog for Amber Depp verdict coming down. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I would be very, very shocked. And I've said it all along, not a lot of things would shock me about this case. Not a lot of things have shocked me throughout this case. Once we had this open drug use and alcohol use and the abuse being discussed and kind of the unabashed dirty laundry being aired, not a lot has surprised me, but that would surprise me. And when we talk about when the verdict was coming down, thank you to Rob from Law and Lumber, who may come on later. My dad's probably going to join us at some point later, too, to talk about this verdict. We called it, the exact time and day that the verdict would come down. Yes, we did on the channel, but nobody really knows that stuff. Nobody really knows. You can base it off of experience trying a lot of cases that a case like this, there's no way they were going to come up with a verdict in one day. Based on the 3-day weekend, that's going to slow them down. They've got to regroup. It wasn't going to happen yesterday. Today was always the most likely day and not first thing in the morning, because every time when they get there, they've got to start discussing it. But with no dinner being served and wanting to get back to their real life, it just seemed perfect that this afternoon would be the time for the verdict. And that's when it came down. But if it would have come tomorrow or the next day or whenever it would have come, somebody would have gotten it right? But I think one of the big things to know is you start to get nervous about a hung jury if it would have lasted through this week, because the jury does not want to sit there. And they're probably telling the judge at that point, get us out of here. We're never going to agree. There's a stalwart. A lot of people talked about whether or not a jury was ever going to be unanimous on this decision. And I said it time and time again that I agree. It seems so hard to get 7 people to agree on questions like this, but it always happens. Yes, we will show the verdict live. We will go to a live stream of the verdict when it comes down. It's supposed to come down at 3. We'll pop in there maybe 5 minutes early. But yeah, they did. They came to unanimous verdict. It really didn't take that long. What, 2.5 days? 2.5 days? And they all agreed. They answered every single one of those questions we went through the other night on the verdict form the same. And they agreed on an exact number. Thank you, Mary MT, and all the new members during this stream. We do have membership options in the description of the video if you want to check them out. And then also, if you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, where we do, a lot of discussion here, it's at Tragos Law is the handle. That's where we really get into it and talk through some of this stuff. But it's going to be very, very interesting. So we'll get to some questions here before we put the live stream up. Smeely, new member, great work and content. Thank you, Smeely81. Hoffenheim, if Johnny loses, we riot. Sounds like something else I've heard in the not so distant past. Senzubin, will today be the day that you will always remember as the day when she almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow? Chance, yeah, Johnny's team did prove she was an abuser and liar, but still had to prove defamation. I hope he wins, but it's very difficult. At least he spoke up. I agree. I think if they both lose, it's still not catastrophic for Johnny Depp. People are not going to be happy with that. But I do think that it's not a total loss for Johnny Depp if they both lose. Now, if Johnny Depp loses and Amber Heard wins, that's a pretty big hit to him. Prince Charming's mom, yes, I will have the court stream up. Tom Hope, you are our favorite lawyer, Peter, and we will never forget the day Amber Heard lost against Jack Sparrow. Azam, 2:30 a.m. in Malaysia. Have to go to work at 6:30 a.m. Well, at least you're going to get all the scoop on what happened, what the reactions are to the verdict. You're going to be able to eat all that up before going to work. Now, it may be a long day and you may be tired at the end, but there won't be much to talk about when you get home. Luciana Soler, thank you, Tragos Law, extended team and family for this journey. As a law student in my country, it is good to see true law operators sharing with non-lawyers comments in this case in an unbiased way. Thank you. Angie, do we know if Depp will be present? The answer to that, I believe, is no from all reports, but reports have been wrong before. Reports have said he's been in the UK, and it's late there. I'm sure we have some viewers from the UK. They can tell us. I think it's the early morning hours there. So I'm sure he's watching, but he's had to wait up until like 6:30 every day to see, whether or not the verdict was going to come down. So he'll be watching, I'm sure, but we'll see. Louise D, I'm a UK lawyer and the losing party usually pays the winner's cost. Will this be the case here? So they both have asked for attorney's fees. It depends on if they're statutory based on what the verdict is, number one, or number two, if they filed what's called a proposal for settlement. That's a tool you can set up to force the losing party to pay the winning party's attorney's fees. It's not automatic here in every case, though, like it is in some other jurisdictions. Ashley King, read the verdict form. It says they have to answer yes to 1, 2, and 3 to add damages, but is it supposed to be or? That's been a big discussion, and we'll see if that's how the jury actually answers it. So before we go too crazy on the language, let's see how the jury comes down. All right, so here, so people don't get nervous as they come in. Let's go ahead and get it up on the screen. All right, so we've got it up here for everybody to know. Yes, we will be live streaming the verdict. All right, Robin Rogers, is the jury in the courtroom for the reading of the verdict? Yes. Amandre Morano, Johannes Kluch is my favorite. Kim Rossignol is a new member. Sandra G, is appeal automatic or a judge can reject it? They have the right to an appeal. They don't automatically win, but they have a right to appeal so that if they want to, they can. Doug D, if Amber loses, will we see a real tear from AH? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We would know she wasn't acting if we saw a real one. Alstro Maria. Super random, but you remind me of the boy in the movie Sleepless in Seattle, Jonah, like he would look like when he grew up. Love the channel. Thank you. It's amazing how many people tell me I look exactly like somebody from some movie or something. It's funny. Jamie, I saw a lot of the jurors were Asian Americans. Don't want to make cultural implications, but I wonder how that might impact opinions on free speech. Melanie Casio, tell the truth. Are you nervous? A little. You know, it's funny. I wouldn't say nervous, but it did make me think the only time I'm truly nervous in a trial is right now. When we hear that a verdict has been reached and we're sitting there and waiting and my stomach is in knots, that's it. A lot of adrenaline rush, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, but not nerves or anxiety really throughout the actual trial process or presentation, for me at least. But when you're waiting on that verdict, there's truly nothing like it. Nothing like it, whether it's a criminal case and somebody's life is on the line or a civil case where a lot of hard work, time, and money is on the line. Ali Sparham, thank you so much for all the time and effort you have put into this trial. Thank you guys for joining me, making this fun. I cannot believe there's 6,000 people in here. I'm truly shocked this many people are coming to this channel, which I appreciate. I've been told that StreamYard and YouTube are going to be put to the test as far as their streaming capabilities because so many people are going to be watching this at once. Zach Cutchin, former attorney here. Love your coverage of this case. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to what you cover next. Thanks, Zach. Get in the comments, man. I want to know what you want to hear and what everybody wants to hear next. I love the current and former attorneys in here. They really add a lot to the conversation. Megapints. Many great law tubers, but I'm here since you are the best of them all. Is your dad joining? Yes, Megapints. He will be joining. Glenda Cardona. Peter, let's go. Been waiting for you live. Well, here I am. Lindsay Justice. Thank you for the super sticker. It's 7:30 p.m. in the UK. Okay, I thought somebody said it was 1:30 a.m. Maybe that's been at 5 o'clock. No, that wouldn't work. I don't know. Somebody told me Johnny Depp's been staying up to the wee hours waiting to see if a verdict came through. Obviously, my world clock is off. SMC, I just tuned in. What is going on? How do we know they have a verdict? And how do we know they will deliver it? You're the best. Thank you, SMC. Reports out of the courtroom are that they have a verdict. We heard it at about 1:30. And the judge said it would be at the top of the next hour. So that makes sense that the jury verdict will come back at 3 o'clock if they brought it in at 1:30. They're going to hand the piece of paper to the judge. The judge is going to read it. And then I bet they will poll the jury to see if that is each one of these jurors' verdicts. Lisa Harvey, so glad the verdict is in today as I have a day off from work. That worked out. So glad Johnny is here in the UK. It is currently 19:38, so you have about 7:30. Why would he want to spend any more time in the same room as Amber? Hoffenheim. It's 8:39 in Switzerland, 7:39 in the UK. Oh, you guys are the best. You so nicely correct me, which I always appreciate because you could be like, hey, idiot, it's not 1:30. But you don't. You just say, hey, it's actually 7:30. Serena Tian, prayers for Johnny from Ireland. Johnny is in the UK, but watching online, and Amber Heard will be there. I heard from Law and Crime. Lindsay Justice, hope JD surprises AH by showing up. That would be interesting. Stay strong. Just a hello. World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day is celebrated on June 1st. Coincidence? I saw that. I don't know if it's true, so that's why I didn't really mention it, but it would certainly be ironic. Archangel Halo. 3 p.m. your time is 8 p.m. UK. Thank you. Chance. They announced Johnny won't be there due to obligations in the UK, but he said he will be watching the verdict from the UK and keep up the good work. Thank you, Chance. Linda Sewer. Thank you for the super sticker. Torax, do your own verdicts make you excited or nervous? Both. Because usually in our cases, like when you're the plaintiff, you should win. Like you're making this decision to go forward. And, 99% of the time we win. So I am excited to get that winning verdict, but always nervous at the amount because if the amount's not enough, the client's life could still be difficult after our kinds of cases because they're so, catastrophically injured or they need this financial help to keep going. So sometimes that's difficult. Sweet Candy 1005. All right, it looks like Big George is here. You ready, Dad? All right. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm putting on my headphones here. So Doug D asked, is your dad joining us? Yes, he is. In fact, he is here, ready to rock and roll and talk through this verdict. So right now we are answering questions. A lot of people had questions here. How soon can the jury leave after the verdict is read? Any housekeeping? Appreciate you and the team guiding us through this. Lawyer you know, fan for life. So the jury can leave pretty much right away. The judge will thank them. They'll get certificates, things like that, but they'll be able to leave before any housekeeping matters or post-trial motions or things like that. JKGN is a new member. Kasim Mian, don't be shocked. You're the best channel by far. I appreciate that. I do. I really appreciate it.
Pete was saying before, normally the judge will make everybody in the courtroom sit and let the jury leave so that nobody hassles them on their way out.
Yeah, and they'll let them know that if you want to talk to somebody, you can, but you don't have to, kind of things like that. The judge may give the jury some instructions after the trial is over. Thank you, Midwest Woman. What are your thoughts about JD not being present, but AH is? Melanie Schwartz. All right, here we go. Let's turn this volume up. Make sure we are all set and ready to go. Yes, we are. So they're in the courtroom. Camille?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about the fact that Johnny Depp's not present?
Makes no difference at all. Really irrelevant.
Zaz Izzy, thank you for making these past few days awesome. Thank you. Linda Vincenti, thank you. Lauren Hers, Peter, what will be said if neither win? Will the judge say on count 1, 2, 3, not guilty, on counterclaims, not guilty, wanting to be prepared? No. She will say there will be an answer to one of those questions. There will be an answer no, and there will be no amount of money. So they will find in favor of Amber Heard on the first 3 counts, and then no on the second 3 counts, and in favor of Johnny Depp. So they'll basically find that they didn't meet the level of defamation. So it'll be answered in a negative. There won't be a not guilty type of verdict. Beverly LM, could both JD or AH be there electronically? I don't know if they're going to let Johnny Depp actually zoom in, but he is watching, he said, whatever that means.
You know, it's funny. Amber's team announced that she was going to be in the courtroom.
They did, but I don't see her.
I don't either.
All right. Mo, I'm going to miss your coverage. What will be your next live case? I don't know, but I'm definitely going to keep doing it, Mo, so you're not going to miss me. This mug is going to be in front of you whether you like it or not. Gina Mussolino, thank you for the super sticker. You're the best lawyer here. Thanks for all your content. Thank you, Evelina. Appreciate your time and work here. Love from India. Karan Game Tub. Widow H, I've watched all your content on this case and the Theranos trial. You mentioned you like the iPad format better. I really like this format the best. Thanks for such a great job. So behind the fourth wall, I'm at my office. So this is my office. The late night ones with either the iPad or my laptop is done at my house. I've got the purple mic here now at the office, the other mic at my house. So I have both setups fully ready to go, but they're not always going to be the same, but that's kind of fun, right? People like a little variety. There is Amber Heard, the woman of the hour. She's got to be nervous, I would think. Lisa Harvey, do you think Amber Heard will manage real tears when she loses? Well, we know they won't be fake because she can't do it. Jenny S., if Amber loses, she will need to stop talking about these claims. If she did, could she get sued again? So, Dad, do you want to talk a little bit about that? So she can still say she disagrees with the jury's verdict and the ruling without it being defamation.
Right. But if she said something after this trial, she could be sued again for what she said after this trial.
And the damage that it caused after this trial, not sued again for the damage that's already been paid for in this trial.
Right.
But she can still say she doesn't agree with the verdict. Melissa Smith called in at work for this. I think a lot of people did. It's kind of wild. Trina Ryan, the excitement is killing me. Team JD, thank you. Kim Tevel, you are a joyful presence and a fabulous representative of your profession and humanity in general. Thank you, Kim. What a kind. You guys are being too kind today. JJ Doe, only channel I want to watch the verdict. Thank you. Ahmad, so the mic keeps coming in and out so you guys can hear it. And when they actually start rolling, I'll shut up. Ahmad Waggy, how crazy would it be if Johnny was watching on this channel, throws a super chat over right now, LOL. Highly doubtful, but would be funny. Nicole Downs, thank you. Christian Tanase, your coverage hands down has been the most entertaining of all law tubers. Also, you bear a strong resemblance to Antoine from Deuce Bigelow movies. Keep up the great work. It's pretty funny. Dogs in Film. I'm literally at work with 1 year in your coverage and 1 year in a meeting. Haha. Thanks for your work, Peter. Justice for JD. So many people. I'm joining in their workday. Stacy B, win or lose. He's told the world his story. He's won the court of public opinion. I agree. Lorna Hamilton. Love this channel. Have learned a lot. Thank you. I'm AC Mill or IMAC Mill. Provocative but serious question. If Amber Heard wins and there's rioting in the streets in Florida, can Floridians run them down with impunity? No. Vivian Wright, thank you. Suki Bayan, thank you so much for your excellent coverage. Thank you for coming in, supporting the channel, and hanging out and getting your questions answered. Carl Tanner, what are your and Big George's take on civil law codes? My best friend is a lawyer in Brazil, which is Napoleonic code based.
Well, the civil law codes are a lot different. And for instance, criminal, especially if they do a prosecutor there's no plea bargaining under civil law. They either go to trial, they don't go to trial, you plead guilty, you don't plead guilty. There's a lot of differences. Louisiana uses the civil law, but they're an exception to the rest of the country.
Okay, I'm excited for this. Like I'm getting the 7 million, Marissa said. A lot of people seem to be very, very invested in this. Carrie Takuts, Zaddy George in the house. Now we can party.
Absolutely.
Melistasi, what do you think about JD not being there for the verdict? I don't think it's a good look. I expect him to be there crying and thanking everyone involved if it goes his way. I'm sure he'll do some kind of interview or we'll see something if it does go his way. The jury didn't know he wasn't going to be here until now, so I don't think it affected their verdict at all. MJ Risen, Florida Adelson case next, please, especially about Wendy immunity. Yes, we will be following that one for sure. It's on the list with a couple other ones that we will for sure be following, but I'm still open to other suggestions as well. Connie Alanis, thank you. Midwest Woman, thank you for being so unbiased and informative. By the way, we want Pat Maroon back. Bleed Blue, love from St. Louis. AM, is it possible the UK verdict will be retried based on the outcome today? Hello from Scotland. I don't think so. I actually heard a report that the judge rejected an appeal already, so I'm not positive. I don't know how the UK law works. So to be honest, I can't answer that question. If it was vice versa and a UK verdict would not overturn a verdict here. Cindy Powers, thank you for the super chat. Allie Martins, will there be any kind of public press conference or statement from the lawyers afterwards? My guess would be yes. And if there is,
there will be.
What?
You bet there will be.
Yeah, and we will try to stream that as well if we can find it. So let me know if you see one and we'll stream that as well. Jacqueline Bruce, my sister thinks you're gorgeous. Well, thank you, Jacqueline. Shepherding forward. Amber is there watching her get out of the car. Yes, and now she is in the courtroom. Ali Sparhan, can't wait to see Ben Chu's reaction if the verdict is in favor of Johnny. He seems to love Johnny, and he has had some classic reactions to witnesses throughout the trial. I agree. All right. This will break the internet. Hope I don't lose you. Yeah, me too, Christy. Mr. Turn Up the Party, thank God the trial is over. Annoying. It's been a long one, that's for sure. Yahil, I think that if it's going to be present at the courtroom, it's because she already knows she has won the trial. Interesting. So you think that shows that she's more confident by showing up rather than Johnny Depp. Industry Rajan, oh my gosh, here we go. Thanks for your excellent coverage and commentary. Thank you for being a stalwart here, Industry Rajan. Always here supporting and hanging out. I can't believe I was this invested in the case. Great job on the delivery of the facts presented. Thank you, Gannicus. Amber Heard spokesperson. This was just sent to me by ABC News. Your presence shows where your priorities are. Johnny Depp plays guitar in the UK while Amber Heard waits for a verdict in Virginia. Depp is taking his snickering and lack of seriousness on tour. So they're going to take shots for sure. ACare15, first super chat comment. Thanks for the insight. Thank you for your first super chat comment. Amber is wearing the black dress she wore to the courthouse to get the TRO, Mercedes said. That's interesting. Doug D, it would be awesome if Johnny walked in as Jack Sparrow. It would be awesome if he walked in and surprised everybody. Heather Hanks, what does a win for Depp sound like? It sounds like yes, 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 and then a number with a million after it when they read his portion of the verdict. That's what a win sounds like for him. Mary Arnold, thanks for the super chat. Thank you for your coverage. Look forward to watching you in the future. Love, your dad. Thank you, Mary. Will it go against him for not being there? No, Carrie, because the jury doesn't know he's not going to be there. I'm in the UK, fell asleep due to migraine, just woke in time. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Sharon.
Has she by chance seen Johnny Depp there in the UK?
If she went to the Beck concert.
Yeah.
Emily S., been loving your unbiased and respectful coverage. Kelsey D., sitting in my car, avoiding going into the grocery store because I'd rather watch this. Well, you got a couple more minutes still, so you're probably safe. Megan Lee, thank you for the super sticker. Precious81, at my desk at work with my Bluetooth on, my friend and I are all texting each other. LOL, great coverage. Thank you, Precious. Patty Joe Sloss with another big one. Thank you so much, Peter and Papa Tragos, for all your coverage and want to watch the live verdict with you and your team. I'm also popping in from work. This is big. Happy verdict day. Love to you all. This is wild. I mean, besides OJ, has anything been like this that you can think of? The OJ verdict was like the most watched verdict ever. Not the whole trial like this, but I mean, this is unprecedented, don't you think?
Well, OJ didn't have the opportunity for people to watch like this trial.
The streaming, right?
Yeah, but you could watch this on your telephone. You couldn't do that during the OJ trial. So, we're seeing it. I mean, this is big time now. There's going to be another trial coming down that's going to be even bigger because of the availability to watch it.
It's crazy to think. Thank you again, Patty Joe. You are my favorite lawyer covering this trial. Thank you for these past weeks. Thank you, Karina Tan. Richard Haddad. Richard, sorry, I don't know why I read that as an S. What are your biggest benefits and disadvantages of having a jury make the call as opposed to the judge? The judge, do you want to take this one, Dad?
Well, I know you have some thoughts on how you want to do it. Do you want to let everyday people decide it who've never heard this kind of stuff? Or do you want a judge who's heard this over and over again to make the kind of decision? It all depends on your facts, because, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. Most people would rather have the common man, person like me, making the decision rather than a judge, again, who's heard this over and over again.
And it's important to note that the judge still makes a lot of decisions in every case. If it is a legal decision, like what evidence comes in, what evidence doesn't, what cases can even be argued to a jury, the judge still makes those decisions because they're qualified to make those decisions. The jury is not qualified to make certain decisions. But determining credibility of somebody, who they believe, how much money it's worth to the common man, a jury is better suited to make those decisions than a judge, in my opinion. So I'm happy with the jury system. They don't always get it right, but I do like the jury system.
And regardless of the verdict, these people can file motions with the judge after the verdict to overturn the verdict. If they find some legal reason, the judge can actually overturn the verdict or change the dollar value of the verdict.
Nicole Downs, 9 p.m. in South Africa, and my kids insisted on staying up to watch. Thanks for all your insights. We have really enjoyed following you and your dad. Hello to Nicole's kids. Karen Mims, JD with Kate Moss. Do you practice in Georgia? I have a couple car accident cases in Georgia. We've had some criminal cases in Georgia in the past. So we have handled some cases in Georgia. Feel free to reach out to us if it is an injury case or a criminal case of some sort. We might be able to help you out with it.
Peter, it's interesting. Watch Amber Heard's table and watch Johnny Depp's tables. They're laughing and joking over at Johnny Depp's tables. I mean, look at the difference in the atmosphere in the two tables.
Ted Lytle, at the end of the day, Johnny wins public opinion. He has held accountable for his imperfections, and during the trial, it appears he has proven he can show up on time. That's true. That is true. It's a good point. Sarah N., grateful for your guidance. This is my first trial since O.J. Simpson when I was 17. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people are. And so a question for you, Sarah, and everybody else that's just joining back in. Are you guys going to follow more of these court case types of streaming? Is this content that you're interested in, or is it just because it's Johnny Depp in a celebrity case? Boy Mom ×2. At work at a personal injury, nursing home negligence, wrongful death, med mal law firm in Washington State. Here for Johnny Depp win, hopefully. Thank you for all the good info and entertainment. Great type of law to fight for. All right, let's listen in.
Yes, Your Honor.
They are bringing the jury.
Just for everybody in the gallery, reminder that this is a court of law, and regardless of the verdict, I will not tolerate any outbursts whatsoever. Okay, thank you.
Not uncommon at all, but very important instructions from the judge. Danielle Peterson, after 7 weeks, my boss will be happy. My work performance is back up. A lot of bosses out there. Elizabeth, tomorrow will be boring. Ha ha ha. Media 3 Group Interactive, you rock. Thanks for taking the time for us today. Absolutely. Worked out perfectly. I not only predicted this time, but I was hopeful for this time. My dad also agreed on the date and time. We both called it, as we said. Chrissy McNeil, thank you. Kelsey, I will do a thumbs up or thumbs down for Johnny Depp during his, and then I will do a thumbs up or thumbs down for Amber Heard during hers. For whoever the plaintiff is. Thumbs up means they won, thumbs down means they lost. The judge has been handed the verdict and she's reading it now. And she's having the attorney's approach. Here we go. Jessica Hole, it's finally happening. Glad I set up reminders for your channel or I wouldn't have even known to join. Love you guys. Yes, very important reminder from Jessica and the 13,000 of you out there to subscribe and hit the reminder bell for our channel. You never know when we're going to jump on and go live. Thank you, Gloria. Ariba Ajane, love from Pakistan. Thanks for the great unbiased coverage. Deb absence, hugely disrespectful to the jury. iMac Mill. And by the way, the freezing is from the YouTube stream, not from our stream. But a lot of people watching, so, or the blurriness, I should say, it's not freezing. But all right, here we go. Ben Chu doesn't look too excited.
Right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I need you to do, I need to give the forms back to you. When you find
they messed it up.
Statement,
they messed it up.
One or more. You need to fill out the compensatory damages. It has to be at least $1 for compensatory damages and up to whatever you feel the damages.
Oh no, that could be for Amber Heard.
For punitive damages, you can put a 0 there, or you can fill out that as well. But I need those lines filled out. Okay. All right, so if I can have you
remember, I said they could come back with $1.
Room and do that.
And that may be what happens.
You're screaming a little bit. So maybe we don't have a verdict, people, because if they haven't even thought about the number amount, either it's going to be $1 or, man, I don't know what that means. I'm kind of.
That definitely means they found for somebody. They didn't give it. Wasn't
correct.
A
and recess to hear back from them. Don't go too far. Okay.
Thank you.
They definitely found for somebody, and I'm trying to look at Amber's lawyers to see if they seem happy, and they don't seem very happy. This is so interesting. This is really interesting. So you think they found for Johnny Depp?
I think they did.
Okay. I agree. I don't see how they could have found for Amber. So they found for Johnny Depp. They didn't put a number down. This is more likely to be a $1 verdict. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it
I
wasn't
can understand a $1 verdict. I can understand it.
Right. Oh, I can too. And I still think Johnny wins if it's a $1 verdict.
Right.
I think he can sell that as a win. This is
really
really interesting. So this has happened before in one of our cases where they asked to fill out a line that didn't exist on the verdict form. So we had to come back, tell them not to fill it out. And then pretty quickly after, they came back with the final verdict amount. This is really interesting, though, because they could take some time and they could say, oh, we didn't realize it was up to us to come up with whether it was 25 or 50 million. We thought it was up to the judge. So they could take more time, although the judge told them to stick close because she thinks that the verdict's coming quick. All right, I'm getting a phone call here, Dad. So why don't you take an answer or take a question?
Okay.
Um,
We're Greeks. That Tragos name is 100% Greek. Christy Owens, Dad, how do you feel about Peachy? Oh, I'm really excited about it. He's doing a great job. And he really, really enjoys it. You always like to see your kid have a good time, and he's having a good time. He loves it. Yuriani, watching with you and your pops. Thank you for your awesome insight. Well, thank you. We enjoy it. Michelle Waters, JD doesn't need to be there. He told his story, and that's what he wanted the world to hear. His burden is lifted. Absolutely. The trial's far as the clients and lawyers, trial's over when the jury goes out. They can't do anything to change it at that point.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So just somebody else said they're a nervous wreck. Just imagine being Amber Heard or even the lawyers, like you thought it was over. You thought you were getting your answer. You're sitting there and then it's like, nope, the jury messed up the verdict form. And I got to be honest, that was not an easy verdict form to fill out. Usually ours are, did this person get injured in this accident? Yes or no. Was this person at fault for the accident? Check the yes or no box. Medical bills in the past, write in a number. Medical bills in the future, write. Much more simple than these verdict forms. Your verdict forms are even easier. Did he commit this crime? Guilty or not guilty is what the jury checks.
To be honest with you, Pete, I mean, I got to wonder, what was this jury thinking that they didn't think they had to come up with a number? I mean,
I think they were thinking what a lot of us said, that, you know what, maybe I feel bad, but maybe they both were just in a bad relationship and they don't deserve any money. They're millionaires themselves. I'm going to just not give them any money, but I'm going to rule in favor of Johnny Depp or whoever they rule in favor of. I think that's what they could be thinking, honestly.
And that's why, and I agree with you, because that's one of the scenarios that I outlined. But how they didn't think they could have to fill something out in that blank, whether it be $0 or $1. You know, I give them a dollar.
Well, because I don't think they did a good job of explaining that there have to be damages as an element of defamation. And some people, you know, have been saying it's defamation per se. The judge is saying there has to be at least $1 of damages in order for this to be defamation. Veronica T, yes, don't forget to hit that like button. Marie San Diego says she doesn't think it's $1. It could be a lot. They could have, I mean, I don't think it's going to be $50 million or $25 million unless they take some time. If they continue deliberating today until 5 o'clock, then maybe it's going to be a big number. But if they come back pretty immediately, I don't think it's going to be $50, $75 million or something like that. Would you agree?
I would. I'd be willing to bet that it's a Depp verdict too. We don't know, but come on. I mean, it's got to be a Depp verdict. Just
this makes me more confident in a prediction of Depp $1. Now, doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like I said about, you know, just because we got the time right, they were going to come back, which technically I don't even know if we're right anymore because they didn't come back all the way. But it's anyone's guess when a jury has it in their hands.
Certainly makes for good TV.
Just one. Odds they settle right now before the jury comes back. Well, it's probably even more likely if they were going to settle right now where they know somebody won. Somebody has won this case. Do we want to try to settle? But I don't think they're going to settle. Sheila M. Don't the judge review that before the attorneys already know the verdicts? I don't know if the judge told them who won. I think the judge could have just said they didn't fill out the number amount, so I'm going to send them back to fill out the number amount. Is that okay with you guys? The attorneys probably say yes, and the judge gave her spiel. That would be the normal way to do it. A lot of people saying they're sick to their stomach. The suspense is killing them. Robin, Mo, biggest fake out ever. Colin B, I think Depp got attorney's fees, which is why the amount was blank. No, there was no amount for the jury to fill out for attorney's fees. The jury just filled out compensatory damages and punitive damages. The judge did say they could put a 0 for punitive damages, but they had to put at least $1 for compensatory damages. What a wild ride, honestly. Like, this is wild. This really helped out the the movie scripts, Sheila Jones says, or the Netflix show, they can have a whole episode about the verdict and how they came and somebody won, but we don't know who won. When are we going to find out who won? Very interesting. Lorraine Denisi, I've always wanted to sit on a jury. Now I'm so sick of waiting. I'm rethinking. And by the way, 46, yes, no jury duty. Oh, 46 years old and no jury duty. That's interesting.
You know, this is going to be interesting because now the jurors, they're going to have great things to ask that jury because, you know, reporters are going to try to interview the jurors. What a great question this is going to be.
Smeely81, love your unbiased opinion and hi to Dad. Nicholas Darrow, this is like a horror movie when the monster suddenly wakes up. It's like, yeah, you think he's dead. And then he's like, well, I'm still alive. Johnny is rebuilding his reputation. I respect it, from Jen Hogan. Beeble Hope, normal to bring attorneys up, or is that a sign of an issue? It's a sign of an issue. Deborah B, wow. Like they say in the military, hurry up and wait. Thank you, Father, for the Tragos who are not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Father, we pray that Amber and Johnny would know you and your son, Jesus, whom you sent. We hope they are on the right path now, as, you know, there's no doubt that their relationship was tumultuous and, you know, they need to seek help, and hopefully no matter what happens in the trial, they both can, you know, find some happiness and some peace, because it didn't seem very peaceful for them. John Burns, could the jury award a negative amount? No. Raul Bravo. So now we have to wait the next top of the hour. Once they fill out a right, greetings from Chile. I don't think the judge is going to do that. She told them to stay close. So maybe it'll be a quicker turnaround, but who the heck knows? Jenna Lee, after being on jury salary for 7 weeks and JD not there, they might award him daily jury pay. It's more than $1.
You know, that's interesting because, you know what? We were saying how it has no impact because the jury doesn't
Now they know,
he's not
though.
there. Now the jury knows he's not there. So
Very interesting.
You know, that's interesting.
Dr. Industry Ray Jean, I cannot stand the suspense. Peter, what do you mean when you said that Johnny's team messed up? Would a $1 verdict take away from Johnny Depp win? Not necessarily. I don't mean they messed up. What I'm saying is they should have made it clearer that the jury has to put a number there if they win on one of these statements. And it's up to the lawyers to explain that to the jury. Do the lawyers know who won? Probably not, but I don't know. Connie Alanis, being from public health in Texas. I'm sorry, blessings from public health in Texas. Respect you both. Thank you. Shepherding forward, Camille and Chu shook hands. CV and BC shook hands and smiled, Sarah said. Maybe that means they won. I think they won. I think Johnny Depp won, but I don't think the verdict's going to be huge. Doug D. O is greedy. She won't let him settle. AH is greedy, sorry. Sam Chess. Does the jury know that Depp isn't there? Could this hurt him? What do you think?
Well, now it can. Yeah. I mean, the jury now knows. Now, this is so bizarre because that's something that never really happens where a jury knows the guy's not there. Maybe they went back and said, you know what? He's not really interested. Because I guarantee you they noticed he wasn't there. It won't change the verdict, but if they were thinking about a dollar amount, it might change the dollar amount.
Stephanie Mason, they couldn't change their minds on all of it now. I would say they probably can't change. I mean, theoretically, I guess they could because the verdict hasn't been read, but I don't think they're going to change their minds on who won, just potentially the dollar amount. Oh, so Law and Lumber just said he puts $50 that they put a number amount in punitive, but nothing in compensatory because they thought they could put a 0 in compensatory. So maybe it's going to be just $1 in compensatory, but they hammer her on punitives, which would be interesting. And frankly, I get it. I get it. If you think Johnny Depp, maybe he's going to get Beetlejuice. Maybe you don't think he lost money in his career because he was showing up late, but you want to punish her for her statements or vice versa, punish him for his statements. So you award punitive damages, but not compensatory. That's a great point by Law and Lumber. If you guys don't follow Law and Lumber, go check him out. Stay strong. I appreciate your content. This may be the first trial of many of us found you, but not the last. Thank you. Stay strong. Maura McNulty, did you see Ben Chu and Camille shake hands? I didn't. Did you, Dad?
I did not, but it certainly would be the appropriate thing to do.
Dawn Marie, I was supposed to leave work at 3 p.m. Do I leave and rush home or sit here and wait? Don't rush home, but you're probably okay to leave and go home. I don't think it's going to be a 5-minute turnaround. Amy Sadler, now the jury knows Johnny isn't there. Could that influence the money given? It could. But I really think that makes sense what Rob just said. Maybe they did put something for punitives, but they've got to put something there for compensatory. Dana Soleli, salute. Are Amber Heard's lawyers allowed to inform her if the jury decided in her favor? Thank you and your dad and yourself for professionalism. Oh, just kidding. Hopefully you didn't leave for work. Hopefully, who was that? Hopefully you didn't leave for work. Stay. Because I think we've got a verdict coming. Nicholas got a bottle of Barbados Platinum rum for this. Lorraine Denisi, Greek Orthodox. My dad grew up Greek Orthodox, and his parents were like founding members of the Greek Orthodox Church. But we are not Greek Orthodox anymore. Well, I don't know if you consider yourself Greek Orthodox. I don't. Smile face. Think people sometimes forget JD is a musician. He's working. Would it be different if he was an IT dude in front of a computer? Potentially, but this whole case would be different if he was an IT dude in front of a computer. If he only gets $1, he's going to need money from the shows. Good point. Ahoika Ama. Johnny's lawyer said JD didn't care about the money. I think the jury awarded to JD, but literally didn't put money since it wasn't asked for. Kelsey D. Amber would have been better off admitting that she messed up and going to get help. Could have saved her career instead of continuing the lies. Blaine. Don't think it matters if JD is there, but I'd be annoyed as a juror if I spent 6 weeks of my life and he wasn't there. I agree, and that's the point. They all would like to be working too, but they can't because of his case. Can the jury change their verdict? Unlikely. Jamie, could they have answered yes to the main question 1A and B, but then answered no to some of the sub-questions? That's why they didn't put an amount. I don't think the judge would have told them to put an amount. I think the judge would have said, this is a no verdict. But instead, she said, you've got to go back and put an amount, which makes me think they did rule in favor of somebody. To me, as an outsider, it seems like there's such reverence to the judge. Well, the judge seems to have reverence for the jury. That is true. I heard he had a contractual agreement, and that's why he's not there. I find that hard to believe. Paula Doak. I hope Amber doesn't justify bankruptcy paying $1 to Johnny Depp. AVH Holland. So nervous finally after all this time watching. We'll miss you guys. What to do now in my evenings? Well, we'll still be doing some stuff. So let us know what you'd be interested in, and maybe we'll catch you on some evening streams. Leon Davis. Is this the judge's fault for that and or situation? Not necessarily. All right, here we go.
All right. Shall we try this again? All right. Let's do that. All right. We're ready for the jury.
This is a good point, industry. People have said this as well. Here we go. She doesn't look nervous, right? She doesn't look nervous at all.
All right. Mr. Foreperson, is this the verdict of the jury? Yes. All right. Is it unanimous? Yes. Thank you, sir. Jamie?
It's unanimous. That's what we need.
In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition, quote, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the
Seeming like full hog.
implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes.
Oh boy.
Question,
Oh
due to
boy.
circumstances surrounding the publication of this statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes.
That was the
Do you
question they
find
had.
that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes.
Oh boy. They believed Johnny and they didn't believe Amber. That's just facts.
2, as to the statement
Wow.
appearing in the op-ed entitled A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven
Is he going to
by
get
a
all
greater
three?
weight of the evidence that question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes.
She's toast.
Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes.
She should be crying now.
3, as to the statement.
Well, she hasn't heard the number yet. If
appearing
it's
in
a
the
dollar,
op-ed
maybe not
entitled
crying.
A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven
We call that
by a
going 3
greater
for
weight
3.
of the evidence that question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes.
Johnny's
Question, the
security guy is
defamatory
looking at Amber
implication
and her people.
was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of this statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes.
A clean
As against
sweep
Amber
of
Heard,
yeses.
We, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million.
Whoa!
As against Amber Heard,
10 mil.
we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million.
Oh, they can't. It's capped at
In
350.
civil case number CL 2019
15 million.
2911, Ms. Heard's claim against Mr. Depp.
This is going to be a big fat
One.
no.
As to this statement, appearing in the April 8, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, no. 2, as to this statement appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt did not do the trick. The officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, and then placed a second call to 911, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Ms. Heard proven by a greater weight of
Wait,
evidence?
so he's there. That's
that
defamatory
question,
as well?
Mr. Waldman, while acting as an agent for Mr. Depp, made or published the statement? Answer, yes.
What?
Question, the statement was about Ms. Heard. Answer, yes.
Are they both going to win?
Question, the statement was seen by someone other than Ms. Heard. Answer, yes.
Oh, this is a
Question,
shock.
the statement was false. Answer, yes. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven by clear and convincing evidence that the statement by Mr. Waldman was made with actual malice? Answer, yes.
What is happening?
3, as to this statement appearing in the April 27th, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, we've reached the beginning of the end of Ms. Heard's abuse hoax against Johnny Depp, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, no.
Okay.
As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million.
Wow.
As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0.
Wow. That's such an
Does you
interesting
decide which
verdict.
To have the jury pulled?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's actually an inconsistent verdict, and we'll explain that.
Members of the
Correct.
jury, if
The
this is
losing
your
side
verdict,
always
please
gets asked if
answer
they want to
yes.
pull the jury,
If
which
this
means,
not your
is this your verdict?
Please answer no. Juror number 6. Juror number 10. Juror number 15. Juror number 16. Juror number 22. Juror number 27. Juror number 29.
I do find that the jury's verdict is unanimous. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your service in this case. I want to thank you again for your dedication and your hard work during this trial. And I know I speak for everybody here when I tell you that we appreciate your sacrifices and your time and your public service in this matter, okay? So I'm going to have you go back to the jury deliberation room for one more time, and then we'll release you from there, okay? All right, thank you.
This is interesting, but let's wait and see if the judge has anything else to say before we break down the verdict.
All right. Okay. In accordance with law, I will amend the punitive damages award to the
There's a cap at
statutory
$350,000.
$350,000.
We know
Mr.
that.
Depp's award, okay? I will set this down for entry of an order, and can we do it on June 24th at 10 a.m. if that's available? All right,
Yes,
if
Your Honor.
Mr. Chu, if you could prepare that order and then circulate it to Ms. Butterhoff, and we can have all the objections noted on it. All right? All right, and if I get it before that date, I'll take it off the docket. Okay? All right, again, thank you to all the attorneys for your professionalism, and you're welcome to come to my courtroom anytime. Well, give me a few weeks, but then you can come anytime, okay? All right, court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
All right, I think that's all we're going to get from the courtroom, but I am shocked. I said all along that nothing would shock me, but the most surprising outcome would be both of them winning. And they both just won, where they each were calling each other liars.
It makes no sense. I mean, if you think that Amber Heard is a total liar on the stand, which they must have, and you award $10 million, which by the way has no logic as to the number.
But we told them that that's what was going to happen. They don't have to pick just what they were asking for. They could pick any number.
You think she's a total liar and all that stuff, and what happens? They give her $2 million. That just makes no sense. They give a total liar $2 million and rule in her favor.
And it's like they knew that those statements by Waldman did hurt her career and lose her money, but I don't think they understood the fact that they had to meet all those elements. Very, very interesting how it all kind of came out. And I explain why it's an inconsistent verdict.
Well, again, it's just a situation where you believe one side and you don't believe the other. In this case, they kind of believed both sides, and that makes no sense for them to say that what he said was untrue about her, that Waldman stuff was untrue, yet they believed Johnny Depp that she was a liar about the abuse. So how can he be untrue and she can still be lying about the abuse? I found that hard to believe.
I think Camille Vasquez is crying. I think Camille Vasquez was crying as she walked out. And just so you guys know, yeah, they were asking for 50 million. This is a huge win for them. Anything in the millions was a huge win for them. And the fact that they wanted to punish Amber Heard with another $5 million and they didn't want to punish Johnny Depp at all, the punitive damages is where you can see that they believed Johnny. They didn't believe Amber. They wanted to punish Amber. They didn't care to punish Johnny. And you can see that even though that $5 million is going to become $350,000, which is legally proper, the judge's hands are tied. There is a punitives cap in this jurisdiction at $350. So the judge did absolutely the right thing, but we got to hear what the jury thought. And to me, it was like they were 98% full hog for Johnny Depp, but they weren't. I was shocked after those numbers, after $5 million of punitive damages. I was shocked that they came back with money for Amber Heard.
I wonder what kind of, again, we may never know, but what kind of wheeling and dealing was done back in the court, back in that jury room. Okay, I'll go ahead and vote 2 million or 10 million for Johnny, but I want to give 2 million to Amber. I can't, again, this is almost they're both kind of losers. They're both kind of had, bad lives and bad marriages and a bad, whatever it is.
Oh, but losers in the story. Yeah.
Johnny got the worst end, so we'll give him 10. She didn't get as bad, so we'll give her 2. It just, the conversation.
That's not how I see it. I see this verdict as we think Amber was lying and she wrote this op-ed to hurt Johnny. We think this op-ed did hurt Johnny. We want to punish Amber Heard. That's how they looked at Johnny's claims. Then when they went to the Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp statements, I think they looked at it as saying, did they do this to hurt Amber? They wanted to fight back in the media. Did it hurt her career? Yes, it hurt her career. How much? Maybe she did lose part of Aquaman. Let's give her $2 million. That's how I think they read it. I don't think they wanted to hammer Johnny. I don't think they believed Amber Heard's stories at all. There's no way you can believe that she was abused in the manner that she testified she was abused and charge her $15 million. There's no way.
But there has to be some kind of compromising going on in that jury room. I mean,
maybe there was one juror that was really in favor for Amber, and so she pushed, or that juror pushed until she got $2 million.
Yeah, and I'll bet you at that 2 million, in the long run, years ago when the suit was filed, I'll bet you that Amber's lawyers never expected they were going to get $2 million on their side of the suit. I think they did that just as to balance out the publicity. Or he's suing us and we're suing them. I don't think they ever thought they were going to get $2 million, and here they end up getting $2 million.
I can't believe that they both won. I really can't believe that they both won.
I can't either.
It's
Nobody-
especially because Johnny Depp won on the SV statements, which is what Adam Waldman said was false and a hoax. Maybe they believed it wasn't a hoax. I don't.
Who could
Something
have
was
ever
going on
predicted-
back there.
Who could have ever predicted it? I don't think anybody predicted it, that it would go both ways. 10-2. That just boggles my mind.
Yeah. I mean, our predictions were Johnny Depp wins on at least one statement with damages somewhere between 1 and 25 million. That was our prediction. And we think Amber Heard loses all the way across.
And I even said it could be $1.
Right.
Just that.
I mean,
we all
$1.
predicted-
I'm sorry. When I said 1 and 25 million, I meant $1 and
Oh, yeah.
$25 million, somewhere a big range.
And we all said Amber Heard's a big zero. She's going to get nothing. How can you believe her? She was the worst witness on the stand. She wasn't prepared properly. She was a liar all the way.
Oh, I didn't go quite as strong on that as you did, but I just found her less credible. And in a case where you had to determine who am I going to rule in favor of, because I have to pick a winner, I'm going to pick Johnny Depp. And I liked the Depp's lawyer's strategy of saying it's all or nothing. But the jury didn't agree. And this is the jury system, folks. This is the jury system.
And I'm not saying Amber Heard is a liar. What I'm saying is that she did not come across well on the witness stand. I mean, we saw her testimony. We saw that cross-examination. She did not look truthful. And so I just don't know how the jury could award money to somebody that had that kind of performance on the witness stand. But again, as we have always said, you can never predict what a juror is going to do, and you can never be sure what they're going to do. And that's why you go to a jury, because you win cases you should lose. You lose cases you should win. But that's a jury.
Whitney just texted and said, is this to try and keep them from doing an appeal? The jurors don't know that. They don't understand the appellate process. And my guess is Amber Heard's team is going to appeal this verdict. So somebody said, Mo said 8,350,000 total for Johnny Depp. Annette asked, how much does Johnny Depp get in total? Theoretically, the way the judgments will be entered is $10,350,000 for Johnny Depp against Amber Heard, and then $2 million for Amber Heard against Johnny Depp. So if we're doing a net, then yes, Mo is correct, $8,350,000. Melanie Casio, oh my gosh, what if they messed up on purpose to verify JD wasn't there and then amended the verdict somehow? I don't believe it, but it's fun to speculate, I guess. Were you going to say something else, Dad?
No, I'm just going to, just keep going.
All right. Riddle me this. If Johnny prevailed on all counts, how could they prevail on the opposite of their findings? Ridiculous. I agree, Michael. It's an inconsistent verdict. I'm just going to mute you, Dad, because I can hear myself in your feedback. But whenever you want to say something, just unmute it. Mandy Bishop, has some of our reactions to JD not being there changed how you'll do trials? I mean, we always have our clients there. I mean, we always have our clients there. So it won't change anything. It solidified it, if anything else. Melanie, probably had a holdout juror. They negotiated to get it done. We did that in my case. The holdouts wouldn't budge unless money. Melanie, I think that is the only plausible explanation, is there was at least one holdout for Amber Heard, and this is how they got it done. Ahmad Waggy, so how much did JD win in total? $10,350,000, but minus the $2 million he has to pay Amber. Paul G, glad I was wrong about the $1. Happy for JD and team. Jennifer, they had a holdout and compromised. No other answer to this verdict. Lane Seawright, the question wasn't whether Amber Heard's career was affected by Waldman's statements, but whether or not it was true. Crazy verdict, still a win for JD. I agree. Mutual verbal abuse, not okay, Kelly Fuller said. Shannon Bryant, can you explain the $350,000 cap? I'm confused. They said he was not guilty, but that his lawyer was malicious, correct? There was no not guilty because it's not criminal. 350 cap is certain legislatures, then rule makers say you cannot punish anybody more than 350,000 no matter what they do. I disagree with that. We fight against those caps because if a jury thinks they should punish Amber Heard and it's going to take $5 million to punish her, they should be able to call that. But in this jurisdiction, you cannot give more than 350. They could have said $500 billion and it still would have been 350K. I'm confused. Can you explain what statement she won on? Adam Waldman's statements about it being a hoax, being used as a sword and a shield. When we get the actual verdict forms back, which hopefully we do, we'll be able to break them down further and hear exactly what statement she said no to. I wasn't taking notes. I was reacting with you all real time. Holly Y. So Johnny won 15 million, but Amber gets 2. So does that mean she owes him 13? No, because that 5 million was reduced to 350,000. Maria Elena Vasquez. That specific statement mentions that she conspired with a lawyer and publicist to spill wine and set up the scene. That was not really proven to be true. Read it again. Nikki, maybe 2 mil for the possibility of them thinking she was not going to play in Aquaman 3. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Can I get Danan and a t-shirt when I come to Tampa? I don't know what Danan is, but Danan and I. Yes. If you swing by our office, you can get a t-shirt. Trey Beatty. I think they gave Amber Heard $2 million so she could pay JD. Well, they didn't give her enough to pay him. Time to bring the alpacas in. Dad, will you take a couple? I guess.
Okay. Can JSC, this beautiful journey, end of life doula, can JD wait to pay until AH pays? They can argue about a set off, saying, okay, I'll pay you this much because you owe me this much. I hardly believe that she's ever going to pay him. I think she'll declare bankruptcy first. So the odds of him collecting are slim. They have the ability to make a compromise now, saying, okay, instead of paying me $10,350,000, you can pay me $6 million minus the 2, give me $4 million. They can do that, and this way they can forego any appeals and the delays. Because remember, you appeal this, that means you don't have to pay till the end of the appeal. You just post a bond. So it could be years before this money ever comes up to have you being paid. Nizzle Whoop. Can you briefly explain the appeal process? When will it happen? Will they go through the same thing with a different jury again? All right, there's no jury on appeals. What happens is after the judgment, when the formal judgment is issued, what the judge said when that's going to be, she gave us a date. When that's issued, then they file a notice of appeal to an appellate court. Then they appeal to the appellate court. They can only appeal based on the record from this trial. They can't add evidence. They can't add any other testimony other than what happened in the trial. It's not a jury. It is judges. So it's a panel of judges hear arguments as to why this judge made some legal mistake or the jury made some legal mistake. But they can only quote from testimony or from evidence brought in this trial. So there is no another jury. That doesn't happen. It's strictly a panel of judges, and they strictly read the record from this trial. Mr. Turn Up the Party, I guarantee you that someone will pay her at least $2 million to do her first interview after the verdict. She doesn't lose anything. You are certainly possible. She may already be writing her book. So yeah, that's certainly possible. Rose Lassie, lawyer here. The jury didn't like defamatory comments about her friends being co-conspirators. I totally think that is why just the one came back in Amber's favor, not because they believe her. You could be right because, again, I don't know how they could believe her from the way she testified, but you being a lawyer, you never can tell what's going to go on back in the jury room or what a jury is going to hang their hat on or see in the testimony no one else saw, and they dig their feet in and you have to make a compromise. Ahmad Wagi, could be because they found that Walls could not have known this with certainty. Therefore, it must have been with bad intent or intent to harm. You could be right. They just might not have liked the statements. Maybe they just didn't think someone should talk about somebody else like that. Yeah, you're right. You never know. And this is really wild speculation, but you could be right. SRP, with donations pledged, what does AA owe the world? Not sure I understand who's going, oh, her pledge donations. I got a feeling that charity may never see the rest of that money.
All right. I'm back and we have some news. As CJOJ said, AH almost immediately released a statement. And here's what it says from her official Instagram, I think. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. So she is, in fact, doubling down here. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. She wants to remind everybody that. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. No, Amber, you can speak freely and openly. But if the jury thinks that you are lying to hurt someone, that is something our Constitution does not protect. And that's just a fact. And at this point, the jury has said they do not find her to be credible, period.
And it's obvious that that was written before the verdict probably even came out.
Correct. She probably had two forms.
It came out way too quick. And it came out sounding like she lost the trial. So somebody must have felt that they lost the trial before the jury verdict even come back.
Well, I think they probably had two forms written, if they won or if they lost. Guy Munton Jackson, please reread the Waldman statement. I think the statement she won on was knowingly false by Waldman. Correct verdict on that statement, in my opinion. Okay. I'll have to rewatch it back. Thank you, Mary. I think Rottenborn closing statement telling them they would be sending a statement if they sided with JD, statement that Chu wanted corrected. Yeah, that was definitely referenced in her statement. Does this leave it open now for Johnny to sue Disney for wrongful dismissal? No. Disney is allowed to rely on those accusations. They don't know that they are false when they rely on them. Thank you, Misty. It makes perfect sense if the jury believes that the apartment was messed up by the fight, not the friends. That's a good point. Also possible compromise to reach unanimous verdict. But that's a good point, is maybe they didn't think it was a hoax or a setup, but just that she lied in Adam Waldman's statements. But did Adam Waldman know that they were false? I don't know. We'll take some reflection on it eventually and think more of what possibly could have come out from it. Auction Fashionista. Dad, why don't you take this one? Cats are people too. What about perjury now? Will she still not be held accountable?
No, she won't be held accountable. And I think especially now, since the juror gave her, threw her some bones here and gave her that $2 million, there's going to be a question, was she lying or not? Did the jury believe her or not? There's not going to be any perjury. Just like we said before, it is so rare for it to happen anyway. It certainly won't happen in this case.
Hoping this means no appeal, Deben. Only time will tell. I think she'll appeal it. Andrea Trapp. So her claim is done. It's won. Her claim is won. W-O-N, not just done. Do you think it was including the friends in the Waldman statement was the part they didn't believe? Also, did this verdict lower chance of appeal? I mean, it definitely is a lower chance of appeal with this verdict than $100 million for Johnny and $0 for Amber. But I don't think that this makes the appeal go away because it was still a big number coming Johnny's way. Is the 2 mil subtracted from the 15? Yes, but also 5 was dropped down to the 350 cap. Bat Tech, Amber is speed dialing Elon for money right now. Johnny would love that too, because then it would get paid. Will they deduct the 2 from the 10 and she pays 8? Yes, Mandy, plus 350. Does this open the door for an appeal? Adriano. The appeal door is already open. Resigned to failure. Didn't they only find the statement that AH and friends staged the spill with seen as defamatory? Yes. Maybe they thought that there wasn't proof she staged the mess. I agree. This is a common sentiment here in the comments. I'm so confused. How can they say she was penalized for perpetrating a hoax essentially on JD, but also has proven defamation? Did JD get real justice? Yes, he got real justice. Don't you think? I mean, wouldn't you say this is a resounding win for him?
It's a resounding win. It is a little hard to understand the 2 million. I admit that it is for probably everybody looking at it, but it's a home run for Johnny Depp. I mean, although he's not going to get 15 million, it's going to be reduced. They still said the word 15 million. People are going to hear that in the headlines that the jury awarded him 15 million. And like we've always said, it doesn't matter really how much. It's the fact that here we have a man who stood up to those allegations and he came out a winner. And that's what people are going to see.
Jen Hogan, if Depp dies before she pays, does it go to his estate? I'll be there next week at Pete. Yes, it goes to his estate. But we have a statement now from Johnny Depp. So let's read it. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed. All in the blink of an eye. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me. It's like an old typewriter text via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this cause, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth. Regardless of the outcome, speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and in the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent and unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me to share the truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun. Truth never perishes. Very interesting comments from Johnny Depp. Johnny just released a statement. Everybody's letting me know. Yes, he did. Gabriel and Enith. Thanks for the great coverage, Peter. To me, it's like he won, she lost. He proved he was a victim. That is all that matters. Justice has been served. I definitely think it's a big win for him. Sen Zubin, check his Instagram. Just got that. Carrie Tecuts, can Johnny make Waldman pay? No. But he could potentially have some cause of action against him. I don't think it's going to happen, though. All right. Can you take a couple, Dad? I'm getting another.
Jar Hudson, Amber is not owning any of this. What does this mean for her future as an ambassador of ACLU or any DV platform? I really think she's toxic now. I just can't imagine anybody using her. Even though, again, she can say she won the 2 million, she lost this case. And the jury verdict says you falsely accused someone of domestic violence. So how can she have a DV platform after this? And how can ACLU use her when it was their statement that they wrote that they used against her, against Johnny Depp? I really think she's toxic for those two areas. Lisa A. is somehow a win for real DV victims. Is somehow a win. The system should not protect liars. Can the law stop her from continuing with these lies? You know, you're absolutely right. Truth should always win out. And truthful DV victims should have their day in court and should be justified in what they do and what they say, and they should be defended. But it does hurt real DV victims when you have something like this, a trial like this, and she ends up being proven that she is not a victim of domestic violence and that she falsely accused somebody. It hurts the entire movement. You're absolutely right. Haley McDaniel, JD should pledge his $2 million to charity and follow through to show AH how it actually works. Well, you might be right. That Amber is not going to be pledging. I think that pledge is down the drain. I can't imagine she's going to be writing a check to that charity now.
Report her Instagram for false information, Nick says. Amber Heard, not Johnny Depp, set back the course of abuse victims in this country, Susan Day says. J.R. Hudson, Amber is not owning any of this. What does this mean for her future? I think we already answered that one. There's another statement on Johnny's Instagram. All right. Sorry. I'm getting just texts now that don't make sense. All right. We will check that out. With the money awarded to Turd, she has to pay that to JD so she doesn't come out ahead. That's a loss to me. Flush that turd. I don't know what that means. Oh, you're saying because that she got any money was a loss. What about her pledges? Kim asks, you can't be enforceable to give a donation. Antelope, how much will Amber's appeal bond be? How does that work? I don't know in that jurisdiction. Maybe Rob can answer that for us later. I'm not sure. Some jurisdictions, you don't have to put any money down if your appeal is good enough, and they'll wait until after the appeal is over. LMK, O.J. Simpson murder trial. Detective Furman pleaded no contest, felony perjury, received 3 years probation, $200 fine. Was this only because it was a criminal case? When the government's involved, they're a lot more likely to prosecute somebody for perjury than in a civil case. PSION Prime. The UK works under different rules, correct? Examination and results of the US. Is there some better way to explain other than that? Well, it's different. Yes, and I'm going to be doing a whole video on it. The differences and why. Press conference for Depp's team. Okay. What YouTube channel is it on? Let me know and I will pull it up and we can watch it together. Let me see. So I'm told there isn't anything else as far as a Johnny Depp statement, but we will see if we can find the press conference. Amber is now going to go all Donald Trump and say stolen, iMac Mill says. Rat Terrier Dog Mom, the jury wasn't advised of the cap. Well, they're not advised of the cap, but both sides only asked for $350,000. They didn't ask for $5 million for the punitive damages. They should have, I think they'd have awarded 15 outright. Also, Tragos attorney time. I agree with you. They may have given more on the compensatory side. Here, let's see. Let's see if I can find this. So I've got the video queued up. If they get to a press conference outside the courtroom, we will go there live. Thank you, Jenny. Since they are both guilty in some sense, not guilty because it's a civil case, liable, are they, from a legal perspective, required to be careful with regards to what they say about each other from now on? They probably should, but I don't know if they actually will. Amber is going to, oh, we already got this. Oh my gosh, the tweets from Lisa Harvey. The tweet Amber Heard has just put out is so ridiculous. Can't attach here. Has not enough characters, but take a look. She posted it 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we read that one. Do you think they were focused on it affecting her career, but not that it wasn't true? And B, the $5 million says a lot, even though he can't get it. I agree, Shan, that the $5 million says a lot. Johnny released a statement. We got that. M. Fabian, punishment for all turd talkers. I'm good with that. Leanna, My dad lives in Port Charlotte. I should have him come get a t-shirt. Absolutely. It was defamation trial, not a DV trial. She was paid for Aquaman 2, Beverly LM said. Chance letting me know Johnny Depp posted a statement. They've got all the mics and cameras set up outside the courtroom. Judy Hills, Waldman got times of 911 calls. They did not expect second cop to show up or Isaac. They just wanted pics.
You know, it's sad. Johnny Depp's going to miss the press conference that's going to go all over the world, and he's going to miss being there.
I think recording Johnny Depp was abuse. Who does that? Deb N said. The post makes her extremely tone deaf, Ahmad Waggy says. Milomia, Peter, please read the Amber Heard statement. It sounds more defamatory than the op-ed. I did read it. Read the whole thing on here already, and we reacted to it. Ahmad Waggy, JD Instapost got 1.5 million likes in 10 minutes. That's wild. Can you imagine paying $2 million for something someone else said, your lawyer or not? Sheesh. I agree, Poppy Rodriguez. That's a tough one for me. I really did not think she was going to win that. Thank you, Jenny. ST. Perhaps the jury felt pressured to award money to Miss Heard because of inappropriate closing statements by Rottenborn or Me Too movement in general. Who knows? Kim CLLX. If AH appeals, do you think the appeal will be denied? Overall, do you and Dad think that the verdict is just? I mean, I really don't see the inconsistent verdict as just. I don't see her winning her counterclaim as just, personally. What do you think, Dad?
I don't think she's going to win her appeal. I think that this judge did a really good job, was very careful, didn't say anything outrageous. I don't think so. I don't think inconsistent verdicts, if these were inconsistent in such a way as to be legally inconsistent, then the judge can make a ruling and actually can correct that inconsistency. But the judge is not going to do that. This appeal is going to, if it gets appealed, there may be some compromises here between the two parties. But if it gets appealed, I don't think it's going to be overturned. I think this is a good verdict and it's going to last.
Rose Lassie, lawyer here. The jury didn't like the defamatory comments about her friends being co-conspirators. I totally think that is why that one came back in Amber's favor, not because they believed her. You could be absolutely right. I think that is a great explanation. That's a great thought. And that could be a reason for this verdict, is that they didn't like that he brought in her friends. Antelope, how much bond has to be posted for appeal in this case? I think we already answered that one. Can you explain what they both won on? Johnny Depp won on all three statements. Amber Heard won on it was a hoax set up by her and her friends as a sword and a shield. The SV, that's the statement that Amber won on. Ashley Dawn, I think they only ruled for the one statement because they don't think she staged it, and that's it. That's fair. So in total, the Depp award is how much? Total net $8,350,000. God strong. So losing a big case like this, how does it affect a lawyer? Just finished watching Lincoln Lawyer Netflix series, and he says, but that's fictional. I did not love that series. I also watched it. We can talk about it another time. I think if you lose doing a good job, it doesn't affect you that negatively because lawyers win and lose trials all the time. But if the public thinks you did a horrible job or were shady, then it can affect you and your reputation. Is it just me, or does Rottenborn look like he's about to cry more than Amber Heard? He did seem a little shell-shocked. Cindy Powers, I hope a case you guys follow in the future will be Lori Vallow / Chad Daybell criminal case. Will be interesting since religion involves Cindy. Check out our page. My dad and I have both actually done videos on that case. So check out our page and follow along because we will be following that trial. Unnecessary to continue to attack and humiliate her at this point. She lost in court. That is justice served, in my opinion. Harassing her proves her point. Panda BP says, I agree. Harkaran Judge. I think the verdict somehow influenced by social media. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. Open Eyes. He got his money back from his divorce. Yay. That is true. Luna Ray. This is where I found it. We are following his official Instagram, and what I read was the only one we can find so far. I'm not sure if this is on a different Instagram, but I'm a little apprehensive to share something he didn't put on his official one. Carrie Tekutz. Bringing up free speech, but also suing and winning for defamation is a little ironic. It's more than a little ironic. Blaine Ashworth. People are saying I missed Ben Chu's press conference, but I'm waiting for somebody to send me a link on it. And I haven't gotten a link on it. So we can rewatch it whenever we find it. Question, do you think this verdict may affect how the UK and Australia approach AH and the other matters? I don't think this verdict is going to affect that. But I think the fact that a jury sided with Johnny Depp and maybe called into question the veracity of what she said, that could affect their confidence. Julie Ann Faye Healing is a new member. Can you explain, this is from House of Virgo, can you explain how and what the cap means? You cannot get more than $350,000 punitive damages in this jurisdiction. It is a law. They have capped it. So no matter what. Sean S., if does appeal, could the judge make her pay more? If there's a new trial, she could pay more, Sean S. The judge won't do that, though. Lorraine Denisi, admittedly terrible at tech. Where can I get merch? We are going to post the merch link in the chat, and it's in the description of the videos that you can check. People are saying the press conference is on law and crime. They will copyright strike me if I put it. Oh, here's the lawyeryouknow.creator/spring.com. That is the merch website. We are not going to put law and crime up and stream it because I don't want to deal with the copyright. We will react to Ben Chu's press conference at some point, though. Biggest punishment is to ignore her forever now, Carrie said. Mina, does having to send the jury back in for the money portion make it easier for Amber to appeal? Not necessarily, no. Lisa Harvey, Depp team has made statement outside court already, just watched on Law and Crime. There we go. Yuna Siraj, they determined the Waldman statement to be true, but probably intended with malice, so they gave her a win. If she appeals, will she not have to pay until after she appeals? Depends on the jurisdiction. Kelly Kavanaugh, could the jury have thought the prevailing party is automatically awarded the amount they sued for? Potentially. It's hard to know exactly what the jury was thinking. Blaine Ashworth, I favor the facts in this case, but I think the jury will base this on the law, potentially given compensation. So this was obviously a much earlier comment. There are a few from much earlier today that I haven't gotten to yet, so I will get to them. Moon, thank you so much for the super sticker. If you guys haven't subscribed to our page already hit that subscribe button. We're down, to 9,000 people watching now, so people are kind of jumping off. Hit the like button on your way out if you're leaving. We're going to stick around and keep answering some more questions for maybe 15 or 20 more minutes. And eventually we will react to the press conferences that are happening afterwards. So thank you all that decided to join us with all the other options. I appreciate you. Does Amber's just released statement double down on the defamation she's been found guilty of? Aristotle, she's allowed to disagree with that statement. With the outcome of the trial. Susan McDonald, hi from Emerald Isle. Thanks, Peter, and to your dad for the great analysis. Best by far. Didn't the judge state AH and JD didn't need to be in court for the verdict? Yes, but we don't know how that affects the jury. They should rule in favor of Johnny and award the $7 million that she got in the divorce settlement she pledged to donate. I think he got a little bit more, a little more than 8. Godstrong 66. I would love to hear why you didn't like the show another time. I'm a regular Joe Schmo, so I thought it was a great show or a neat show. We will absolutely talk about it later. Jury from online shows it was modified to phrase question as suggested by Ben Chu. Does that help JD? Yes. Ahmad Waggy. So now that the jury saw Johnny Depp absent, would it affect them? We might never know. Before the judge got the paper, did she know the verdict? Yes. She read through the verdict and probably saw the $5 million in punitive damages. Law and Lumber was absolutely correct on that. Sardi, thank you for all your insight throughout the trial. I came here for Depp for Heard, but we'll stick around for whatever you cover next. Thank you. I hope AH loses and JD sends AH 100 million alpacas. Does Amber also need to pay for Depp's lawyer fees? We will see. In the post-trial motions, we will see if she also has to pay attorney's fees and costs. Sally Byrne, thank you. This is one for you, Dad. Michelle Woods, Papa Tragos, are you American-born or a Greek immigrant?
I am American-born. My dad, interesting story, quick. My dad was born in America, went back to Greece to live, and then came back here. And that's when he had me. So he actually was born here, went back, came back. basically he was in Greece and said, things aren't so bad in America, and he moved back to America.
Susanna Ferrara, thank you for the past 6 weeks. I've learned so much. Excited for what's to come. Crafts for others. Why is Amber and her sister, etc., wearing funeral dresses? Do you think they believe they will lose? Well, if they did, they were right, but they also won. So, Susan Parker, thank you for your coverage of this trial. Really enjoyed listening. Question: how does a case like this change the lives of the judge and lawyers involved? You want to take that one, Dad? I've answered this a couple times.
Yeah, well, it could really shoot up and make superstars out of some lawyers, or it could hurt some lawyers' careers. If people thought, like you said, winning and losing is not the important thing for the lawyers. It's how they did. Did they do a good job for their clients? Did they make a good impression on the jury and on the public that was watching? And so you could lose and even come out of it smelling like a rose and looking really good. So, in this case, I think that JD's lawyers did an excellent job. I think they looked better than Amber's lawyers. However, I was surprised Amber's lawyers got $2 million. That was better than I thought they would do. And somebody asked before about attorney's fees. Think about it for a second. And Johnny's lawyers want attorney's fees. Well, when they ask for that attorney's fees, they've got to show how it was a waste of time to go to trial, pretty much, and that why should she reimburse us because we here wasted our time. But since both parties won something, it's going to be harder for one or the other to claim the other party should receive attorney's fees. It's going to make it tougher. A total win would have made it easier.
All right. How about this one? Vic and Wes. I'm confused. Does Amber have to pay Johnny the $10 million or just the $350,000 or both? She has to pay him both, but he has to pay her the $2 million. Marina Martins. Question: if they found Waltman acted as an agent of Johnny Depp on the police statement, wouldn't that mean he's an agent in the whole statement? Yes, but it seems like that's the only one they found was defamatory. Amber said, tell the world, Johnny, tell the world, you as a man of victim of domestic violence, see who believes you, and now the entire world believes him. Correct. Janny Bates, as both an SA victim from age 5 to 15 and a DA for 4 years as an adult, this was a just verdict. Bubbles T, I think the count that she won on was Waldman making hoax statements about her and her friends, agreed, roughing up the apartment between cops. I think they believe Josh Drew when he said it did not happen. I agree with you. I thought he was a very good witness for Amber Heard. Will count 2 hurt JD forward on, Cassio said. I don't think it's going to hurt him past this case. James, why not? I can't find any documentation on Amber Heard not handing over devices. Is this actually true? I don't know. Again, those are a lot of reports that I have seen, but I haven't seen it myself with my own eyes. Carrie Teckets, Johnny's post has 2.8 million likes. Amber Heard's post has 50,000. All right, Jake Rumeos is saying, here is Johnny's team's statement after court. I can't click it. It's not letting me click it, but hold on a second. I have here, Dad, let me have you answer this question. Never mind. There's not a question here. Why don't you read these couple comments here?
Amber and Johnny both posted on their Instagram. Depp's team already gave their verdict speech. Elizabeth, Amber Heard needs to zip it for once. She needs to worry about herself. Stop projecting on Johnny. We are tired of her.
All right. And then we have this. I'm trying to look for it, Jake. I can't find it. Somebody else also sent me the link for the interview, but I can't get, so it said it's emailed to me. So I'm trying to pull that up here, but I'm not getting it. Here we go. All right. Let's see if we can find this interview by Ben Chu. Here we go. All right, here we go. We've got Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu, and we are going to watch their Let me pull it up so I can get to the beginning of it. All right, here we go.
$2 million obviously will go some way to set off the award in the event that it ultimately stands. I think, in a case of this nature, it is the very sad thing that you have to bear in mind that, this is a couple whose marriage has disintegrated in front of the world. And even though they're both very high profile actors and will be very used to having a situation where they are having their lives and their performances in public, I think this must have been an extremely stressful situation for both of them.
Yeah. I mean, you represented them, as we said. Tell us about, so what happened in Belfast in 2015?
Well, we got, it's what a difference, I'm afraid, 7 years makes. At that stage, they were both happily married. And, events unfortunately move on. And, we obtained an apology from a number
Paul Tweed,
of...
I'm cutting in because we've got some more live proceedings outside the court. This is Johnny Depp's, or one of the lawyers. Let's listen.
The claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence.
She's even
We're
reading this
grateful,
statement.
So grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation, to the judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her case heard, and we were honored, truly honored, to assist Mr. Depp in ensuring that his case was fairly considered throughout the trial. We are also most pleased that the trial has resonated for so many people in the public who value truth and justice. Now that the jury has reached its conclusive verdict, it's time to turn the page and look to the future. Thank you all so much, and thanks to the jury.
Thank you so much.
Let's go. Have you spoken to Johnny? How is he feeling? How's Johnny feeling?
Will Johnny and Amber ever speak to each other again?
Is this the end of the matter?
They will not answer any
Right, a
questions.
short statement there from two of Johnny Depp's legal team, basically welcoming the verdicts.
All right, so what do you think about that press conference?
Short, and I think they should have done a little more. I think they should have taken some questions. I do. I think they
That's
should have-
you. Yeah, you think they should have tried to steal the show and been super aggressive. And I thought it was professional. It was nice. They were humble victors. I liked it. I thought it was fine. That's how they've kind of handled the case. They haven't gone overboard. They will do interviews later. They're going to go on Good Morning America. They're going to do 1 million
The
interviews.
right to know.
Yeah, and they're going to get it. But I liked it. I liked that press conference. I thought that was appropriate.
Too short.
Domestic Zoom mom. Will JD's legal fees be paid or not, since Amber Heard won $2 million? So you can have legal fees attached to whichever case. And if they're both technically winners, then do they have to pay each other's legal fees? My guess is they're going to come up with some kind of a settlement at some point. Stephanie Mason, seems unfair that the jury didn't know about the $350K cap. I mean, okay. Do you think they would have went higher than the 10 mil for compensatory if they realized? Potentially, but that is how it works. You ask the jury for that amount. I feel like one of the lawyers maybe even said that's the cap. But yeah, I think they would have given more, but I mean, 10 million is still a lot of money. Wait, so which part of the form did they put a 0 on? Curious if they flipped on the 10 million or the 2 million. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Maybe they had all Johnny Depp's appropriately, but they didn't put any money down for Amber Heard. And so they had to go back and they put 2 million. That's interesting. If that's the case, man, they sure came up with that out of nowhere real quick. Casio, what did they claim him for in count 2? The Adam Waldman hoax statements set up by by Amber and her friends. Megan Carter, they didn't prove her friends were liars. Did they prove Io was in on it? No, I get that. They believe she lied, but her friends all in on it? No. Megan, I think we're all kind of coming together to that kind of sentiment. So I think you're right. NN, did someone say JD set the justice system back? If we heard him saying, babe, I didn't punch you, I slapped you, he would have been in jail. I agree with you. And Kamet, why do you think JD didn't pursue domestic abuse case? He would have won it. What do you think, Dad?
Well, I think it would have been tougher, and I don't think he wanted to pursue a domestic abuse case. I'm assuming you mean by a criminal case. We talk about domestic abuse. I don't think he wanted to. I think he wanted this thing to just all go away and to be quiet and nothing happened. I think Amber Heard pushed him into this. I think that if she had just kept her mouth shut, everybody would have just gone their own way, and there wouldn't be any problems. she caused this. She pushed him into it. And, he said, I've had enough. And that's what he did.
Baby Sin, what was the June date for the judge said? I think that was when she's going to enter the final judgment.
Right.
So this is the jury verdict, and then the judge enters the final judgment. In AVH Holland, who decides who pays attorney's fees? The judge. So the final judgment could look very different from a verdict. We've had cases that, we've gotten a $150,000 verdict, but the final judgment ends up being $300,000 because you get attorney's fees or costs or something like that. Or it can be a $100,000 verdict with a $5 million final judgment with attorney's fees and costs. There have been wage cases where there's $1 of unpaid wages and $500,000 of attorney's fees. So the final judgment is different than the actual jury verdict, and that's what we're going to come back for in June. Eliza, maybe Camille reads because she can't retain. I'm smart too, but can't rely on my short-term memory, especially with fear of public speaking. Eliza, you could be absolutely true. Absolutely true. I just thought it was interesting. I'm not making fun of her or saying she's a bad lawyer because of it. I just noticed it that's kind of her way of presenting.
You know what I've learned, Peter, from your people here, from listening to your people? I always thought that it wasn't a good idea to read. But it seems that a lot of people don't have any negative reaction to someone actually reading like a.
Can I tell you what I've learned?
What?
If they're on your side, they don't care. If they're not on your side, they will tear you up for reading and not being able to present without notes. That's how it is. Yeah, if a juror is
found
with
this
you,
interesting comments about reading.
I agree, but I think if a juror is with you, I don't think Johnny's lawyers can do any wrong at this point. Grimmer, hi, I'm sure you've already been asked this, but what will the ACLU or any of the magazines go after Amber Heard? Who knows? Who knows what they'll do? I mean, the magazines are definitely going to report on it. Vikas Sridhar. With the UK trial plus this one, Depp has probably spent loads of legal fees, $20 million. He's now been awarded $10 million compensation, which he probably won't even get. He may be given some money for attorney's fees. Thank you, Melissa. Richard, I don't know why I keep saying Richard. Richard Weinstein. If Amber doesn't pay, does Johnny have to? My guess is it's not going to work like that. It'll be some kind of a net amount that the judge will force Amber to pay. I don't think she's going to make Johnny pay the $2 million and then hope Amber pays. Elisa Extina. Will Washington Post have to remove or retract the defamatory op-ed? P.S. Love your channel and love the Jack Sparrow. Thank you, Eliza. They probably won't be forced to legally because there's no injunction in place, but they probably should remove it. Moon, yay, thanks for being here. Will you please explain the $2 million as if I was a 5-year-old? I'm very confused on the details. Thank you. My guess is they thought those statements were not true that Adam Waldman said. They felt like they hurt Amber's career and they maybe gave her $1 million for Aquaman 2, $1 million for Aquaman 3 or something like that to come to the $2 million compensatory damages, but they did not want to punish Johnny Depp, which is why they did not give him. And the biggest difference you can look at here is $5 million to punish Amber, 0 to punish Johnny. Jan Weisbart is a new member. Thank you, Dallas, for the super sticker. For anybody that's not already following us on Instagram and Twitter, check out Tragos Law on there because we love to get in the comments. We post a lot of fun stuff on there. We get to have a lot of discussion. Subscribe to our page if you haven't already. We're winding down here in the next probably 7 minutes. So get your questions in now if you have them. We're going to answer a few more questions. Then we're going to take off. When we do take off, hit the like button on the way out. This was a really fun stream. One of our, potentially our biggest stream ever, which is hilarious because there are 50 people streaming that had, way bigger streams, but it's just, that's how many people are watching this. A. Beatty, the verdict in favor of AH was about the Waldman speaking directly about the police. AH didn't stage the penthouse before calling the cops for a second time. She definitely staged it for photos, not for police. Carrie Tekutz, if Elaine read, she might have come off better. Potentially. Casey Raybon. I wonder if this is the Casey Raybon, our Casey Raybon. If it's not, we know a Casey Raybon. Soren, the jury did not understand the last question. Repercussions on future DV allegations from Amy Jones. Do you think this will change reporting of domestic violence at all?
I do. I think that people are going to be more careful when they accuse someone of domestic violence. I think they're not going to use it as much of a weapon to hurt somebody. They're only going to make the allegation when it really does happen. Because I know we've represented people in domestic cases where they use it in order to talk about custody of the children, or in divorce cases to get more alimony. Those happen, and people use these allegations. So I think now people are going to be more careful, and I think rightfully so, to make sure they only use it when it's definitely happening and it's definitely true.
Which is how it should be, frankly.
Yes.
Nicole Vaughn, thank you. Colleen Timber. Will you listen to the Australia audio now? I understand no audio with more voices than AH and JD, but witnesses could testify Aussie audio was so damning for AH. Colleen, I actually did. I listened to the audio from Australia. I read the Jennifer Howell letter impeaching Whitney Heard, and I did a video on it. Was it last night? I think it was last night. So check out the live from last night where I break down that Australia audio. I talk about whether or not I think it should have been admissible or if the judge made the wrong call. Same with the Jennifer Howell letter. I talked about whether or not that should have been admissible. And I'll give you a little tease. I thought one of them should have come into trial and one of them should not and was properly kept out. So check out that video from last night. Cindy Gonzalez, how is the op-ed legally removed from the Post? They would have to get some kind of injunction to force the Post to take it down. But I would think if the Post was looking out for their best interest, they would take it down. What do you think about that, Dad?
I think it's definitely the right thing to do to take it down. I think keeping it up is just irresponsible journalism.
Thank you, Nicole Vaughn. Thank you, Sally Byrne. Pretty sure the statement AH just made is defamation. I mean, if people want to say that, I don't think Johnny's going to go back after her, if you want my guess. He may file some kind of cease and desist letter telling her to stop, but at this point, he has the trump card, right? He has the jury verdict that he can post that says they don't believe her. Her statements were false. Her statements were made with actual malice, and her statements damaged him to the amount of $15 million. So I think he has that trump card at this point. I think this is from Miss JIH. I think we and Depp can breathe out now. Hashtag justice. Sugar Kitty is a new member. Nicole Vaughn, Pete and Dad, do you think AH will now be removed from Aquaman 2? What do you think, Dad?
I mean, if I was the producer, I would probably remove her. But, I don't know how Hollywood thinks about that. They might think that her name might bring people into the theater to see her. Keep in mind, again, I don't know about 2, but if you watched Aquaman 1, she was not a main character. She was kind of a peripheral character.
She was one of the main characters, I think. I think she was
peripheral. I mean, if you replaced her with somebody else, nobody would have noticed. So I think they might leave her in just to have her name recognition.
Thank you, Frederick Eilish McMillan. Jovi Crazed. Don't agree that his lawyers can do no wrong. I didn't mean that literally. I just meant a lot of people in the chat are going to be with him and his lawyers no matter what they say. They missed vital things. You're being objective about it, so I understand that. Agree with your dad about reading. Better to be prepared and not miss anything. I promise you my dad doesn't think that. That is not how we try cases, by reading things. But maybe it's not as big of a deal as we've thought, and jurors are okay with it as long as your presentation is good. So thank you for the chat, though, Jovi. So nice. You may have done it twice. So we'll put it up here again. Italia Gurley. Please tell me if she will have to pay his attorney's fees. I think he is going to ask for her to pay them. We will see if the judge orders it. In June, we're going to figure out whether or not the judge orders either side to have to pay the attorney's fees, because if it's statutory that attorney's fees and costs are in it, they are in the complaint, then both sides technically won the attorney's fees. Colleen Trimber, you're awesome. Loved your coverage. Thank you. Greek Poet. Police went once only. Maybe that is why Amber Heard won $2 million. I think that's a good theory. Salas. I wish they would have given him $29.5 million. Would have been poetic. Nathaniel Tones. Hashtag Megapint. Hashtag Justice for Jack Sparrow. Hashtag Amika Cream. Roger Broom, do punitive damage have to be paid by the person? So Amber's insurance or a boyfriend can't pay for her? Well, a boyfriend could certainly pay for her. This is from, Roger. Insurance can pay whatever they want to pay, but most insurance does not cover this. Most insurance does not cover defamation. So even if they're paying for her attorney's fees, my guess is they're going to try to decline to pay this $10 million. I'd also be surprised if she actually had $10 million in coverage. So we'll see. Pete, now Johnny has won. Will you dress as Jack Sparrow again and do the Jack Sparrow run? No, Lisa, not happening again. I may play the intro once or twice more. The jury's service was disrespected by not knowing about the 350 cap. They intended a $15 million verdict with $2 million split, and their judgment statement was chopped. I disagree. Go ahead,
well, Peter, where do you think they got the 10 million other than just a compromise or pull it out of their head? Because that 10 million figure even was never, you can't attach it to a film. You can't attach to a contract he lost. You can't attach it to the closing arguments. It's obvious they just sat around and decided, all right, you want 20, I want 5, let's agree on 10. Because there's really no logic even to the 10 million.
That happens all the time, though. I mean,
Right.
That happens in a ton of our verdicts where they come up with a number that we don't even know where they got it. JJ Doe, t-shirt idea, Pete in the Jack Sparrow costume, and it says fan of justice. We do have big fan of justice merch coming, and I think we also have hats, and I need to get one because I don't have one yet, but I will be getting one. Vicky Stewart, thank you for the super chat. Vamp, they should just pay her for Aquaman 2 and 3, but leave her out. They will make way more money in the box office by leaving her out. Thanks for the great coverage. That's a good point. Stay strong. Don't think he's going after her. I do believe that she will go after him. AH is a perfect example of how abuse is not only physical. All right, Dad, take this one.
Why do you think they both will do? What do you think they both do after this mischief? I don't know. Johnny, there's definitely more movies, and his career is definitely on the upswing from where it was before the trial. She's going to continue to play the parts like she's been playing and get into movies. Her value, I think, is not as great as Johnny's, but they'll continue in their careers. They'll continue acting. They'll continue making movies. Donnie Ewing, will Amber's insurance cover this verdict? I do not think so. Most insurance coverages exempt defamation. They exempt punitive damages. They may have some type of attorney's fee coverage. They might have been paying for attorney's fees, but they're not going to pay for this verdict. Akentha Ryan, Oak Moon. For anyone who was on the fence, Dr. Curry swayed it. You might be right. Deb T, how might this affect his relationship with Disney? Well, I don't know. He is probably bitter at Disney for cutting him from the film because of this. Disney probably after this might want him in the film. Peter and I have a disagreement about whether he would do it, but I think if Disney offered him enough money, he would do another Jack Sparrow.
I don't think so. But I mean, obviously, okay, when you say enough money, $500 million, sure, but not for the 25 million bucks or whatever they did. K Drunk 5586. Well done on all the coverages and breakdowns. Thank you. And he doesn't need Disney, by the way. If anything, somebody else should come up with some other pirate movie, and he should just knock off Jack Sparrow and go make them hundreds of millions of dollars. Marsha Wright, you guys are great. Peter, do you have a cold? Take care of yourself. No, my voice is perpetually lost. I have this kind of a raspy voice. My son does too. Have my whole life. If you watch enough of my videos on our page, you will notice my voice kind of always sounds like this, sometimes worse than others. Michaela McNaughton, can the judge share her personal opinion on the case now that the verdict is out? Dad, why don't you take this one?
No, normally judges' canons are that you don't comment on a verdict. You don't comment on what the jury does.
What's a judicial canon?
Judicial canon are the rules that judges have to abide by. And those rules say that judges don't comment on verdicts. Now, when Peter does his comparison of the UK versus the American civil system, you will find that UK judges do comment on the evidence before the jury makes a verdict. So that's one of the big differences is our judges don't say anything about the verdict or say anything that would indicate to a jury what they think the verdict should be. But that's different in the UK.
Yeah, it is very different. Maybe I'll have you on to explain some of those differences once I look at what the differences are in the actual what came out in trial. Courtney, bittersweet. He wasn't made whole and no agency, in my opinion. Elizabeth, would have loved if the jury threw in an alpaca. Ahmad Waggy, 100%. I didn't know Amber Heard was in Aquaman until this trial, and I've watched it twice. I'm sorry, I can't hold in the laughter. That is really fun.
See, I told you she's a peripheral character.
Ahmad Waggy comments a lot, and he's pretty funny. So I'm just like picturing him saying this based on what I think his personality is like, and it made me laugh. He thought Nicole Kidman was the main character. Mac Mill. AH is a clown, rails against rich, powerful men, but uses them to finance her lifestyle. Then between destroying them, runs back to nobody women. All right. You ready to call it? This was fun. Thank you guys for coming on and joining us. Dad, thanks for coming on as usual. This was fun. We will still have some more JD Amber Heard content coming. We are going to do the breakdown of differences between the UK trial. We'll probably break down that June court date. If you guys have a lot of questions, send them in and comment on this video. Maybe we'll do a Q&A one night as well. We're going to finish off here with Sheila D's comment that freedom of speech does not mean freedom to lie. I reported AH's IG post for false information. Love your channel and coverage of the trial. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, everybody that chose to be here because I know you had other options. And it makes us feel good when you guys come and support the channel, make it fun, ask a lot of questions. That's why we're here. That's why we jump on and do lives when we need to. So that's it for today for us. And this trial is over. I don't think we're done talking about it completely, but the trial is over. The verdict is in. The jury is back. Johnny Depp wins. Amber Heard kind of loses. They believe Johnny Depp. They didn't believe Amber Heard. They said that her statements were false. They did not find her credible, but they did, in fact, find Johnny Depp credible, which I think goes for the justice for Johnny crew. Should be happy with that. But I thought it was a fair verdict based on the evidence that I saw and that I listened to that just came out of the trial, especially comparing Johnny Depp's testimony versus Amber Heard's. So overall, I think the jury got it close to, I think if the jury would have just given Johnny Depp an $8 million verdict, they would have gotten it right. I think it's weird that they did the 10 and the 2, but overall, if we just take a net amount, I think the jury got it right. What do you think, Dad? Agree or disagree?
No, I agree with you. I think that, again, the Amber Heard part was just off the wall. That was nuts. But the Johnny Depp part, they were right on.
All right, everybody. That's all we've got. Thanks for being with us. Until next time.